Marginal analysis and pricing. Marginal word we already discussed in unit 9, that it is additional or incremental. So we will do analysis about the pricing. This is a very interesting chapter. We'll see how to apply marginal analysis, how to accept special order, should we make our products or should we buy our products, or in other situation, what is the concept of price elasticity of demand, that is economics. So first we will know what is elasticity, then we'll relate it with price elasticity. We have income elasticity and we have cross elasticity as well. And in the last we'll see price theory, means how to set the price. Either it's a marginal, incremental, it is absorption based, it is activity based, it is job order, it is process, and other than that it is psychological pricing, competitor based pricing, geographical based pricing. So this is all we will discuss it shortly. This is all very practical and day to day we have to look into. Starting with accounting cost and economic cost. Accounting, as we know, is happy until you are utilizing your resources in a appropriate way. For example, if I'm an accountant, we have excess money, I went to bank say okay 2% we will offer. I said yes, so 2% is appropriate from my definition of accounting and I am still getting some profit. But when it comes to an economist, an analyst, he tried to maximize the resources of the company. So maybe he will exploit other opportunities. So maybe you can invest with stocks, equity, you can go for other type of venture capitals, joint ventures and other options. So you can get 10%. So we always see that we have economic profit and losses in terms of our investment strategies. So what is accounting cost? Accounting cost is explicit cost, which is as per US GAAP has an invoice and we can record it as a cost. Economic cost is invisible. It is, we feel that is a cost, but we can't invoice it. For example, if I went for a meeting, I kept waiting 1 hour to the guy and suddenly I came to know that he is stuck, I can't meet him. So immediately the first reaction of mine is, oh, you waste my 1 hour, right? Now, I might can earn $3,000 in 1 hour. If I don't come here, I go somewhere else, I can make $3,000. So it doesn't mean that I will put an invoice of $3,000 and ask him to pay. This is my intrinsic cost. It's my implicit cost. I felt that is a cost of wasting resources, my time, right? So same way, if an accountant stuck the money for 3 years on 2% and I could make 10% out of that, I will treat it as an economic cost of 8%, right? So that's how we calculate. First we calculate accounting profit. We say cost less cost of goods sold, gross profit less operating expenses, it gives a net profit. Then we say less economic cost. So then we get economic profit and loss. So maybe you have an accounting profit, but from our point of view, you are in economic loss. So we have to utilize these resources in a nice way. I already explained explicit cost is the cost that you can see, it has an invoice and it is like an accounting cost on the historical cost concept. So inventory, display cases, rent, utilities, these are the utility bill and a total of this is the total explicit cost. Implicit cost is, now moving forward we have economic cost, which is equal to explicit cost plus implicit cost. Implicit cost is the opportunity cost. This is in CMA part 1 already we discussed in the costing chapter that the next best alternative foregone is the opportunity cost. So you take these costs and your total cost will increase, of course, as the economic cost. So as I told you, you may be in accounting profit, but maybe you have implicit cost, so you are into economic loss. For us as economists, as CMAs, this is an alarming situation. Means our resources are not optimized. We are unable to get the better value from the resources that we have in our organization. So shareholder wealth maximization, this is what we are focusing on. So he says when it comes to these things, always see relevant versus irrelevant factor. Suppose I am going to buy a bank. Bank has some subsidiaries which I am not acquiring, but there are some expenses related to them. So I will say, look, I only will pay for the bank's related expenses related to bank, not them. This is irrelevant for me. So a lot of time in decision making, in merger, acquisition, and some big level transactions, we have to use the concept of relevant and irrelevant. For example, if I ask you how much it cost you when you come here, you will say, I will fuel my car. Makes sense, because without that you cannot come. But then you stop on McDonald's, you eat, then you bought a t-shirt from a store, and then you came here. So I can say for me, if I'm calculating cost of your travel, only fuel cost is relevant. This McDonald's and shopping is irrelevant. So this is the concept that we use. We have avoidable cost and unavoidable cost. Avoidable cost means that we can avoid, we can defer, we can delay. Unavoidable means we can't. For example, it is committed and somehow we have to go with it. Incremental, which is marginal, which just now we discussed about it. Okay, then we will go for analysis. It says we have quantitative analysis, which emphasizes the way in which revenue and cost works. And when a constraint is limited, manager should direct limited resources towards those products and services which produce the best contribution margin. So you might recall theory of constraint, which said throughput margins. So same like contribution margins. Whenever there is a constraint, we have to use the constraint in a best possible maximization way through this formula. So we can have an optimum strategy uses as much of the constraint as necessary to fill the gap. So remaining unit of the constraint are used on other products. Here you can take one example. There are A and B. You can say operating profit is here, and machine per hour is 2.5 and 2. So it says manufacturing has 55,000 machine hours available. This is an example. So we can solve it for the certain questions. When it comes, I will explain. As a CMA, as a management, we have to take lot of decisions, right? Lot of decisions. What are those decisions? Suppose if I have a manufacturing unit, I make a unit, I make a you can say manufacturing order. It costs me $5 per unit, but I check quotation from outside, they are giving me $3. So sometimes you have to be very sharp, and even all companies are doing this way. What is good to produce? Then we have to decide: do you have extra capacity? Are you full or you are over capacity? Can you produce by yourself? Do you have extra capacity? If no, then of course we will outsource. If yes, then of course we have to make, because we have to cover our fixed cost and variable cost as well.